Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm just here to answer the question, what do you use your junk journals for? I hear that question a lot, both here and on Facebook, on my page, and in some of the Facebook groups. And so I'm just going to answer what I use mine for, just to maybe give you some ideas. Now, I've already shown the video of my Shakespeare journal. This one is huge, and it's just to collect some of my favorite vintage images that I find online that are copyright free and that I just really love, and I just wanted to keep for myself just so that I can look at them. So this, I've already shown you that one. I've also already done a video of my gratitude journal where every day I record 3 things that I'm grateful for. So this one you've already seen inside as well. And then most recently I've shown you this one, which is to record my favorite love quotes. And so you can look up this video as well. The junk journals that I want to show you now are the ones that I've made or put together to suit my lifestyle. When I used to work outside of the home, I did have a planner that had the calendar pages in because as a counselor, I needed to have all my appointments with my clients laid out in front of me so that I would know which days I needed to be at the office. And so my planners for at home, for my business at home, are pretty much just making lists. So I made some junk journals that, you know, would suit that because that's what I am. I'm kind of a chronic list maker. So I just want to show you this first one. This one was inspired by Yoli Bean. She had made these duct tape spine manila envelope journals, and I thought they were fabulous, so I did the same thing and stuffed the envelope part with a bunch of journaling cards and scraps of paper, and used these pages to either write my lists on or add my cards and pieces of paper that I would washi tape on, or I used paper clips. And so my lists were always just sort of written this way. So this was sort of like a day to day. Every day that I had a list to do, I would write my list, and then I would check off what I got done, and then the next day, whatever I didn't get done, I would carry over to the next page. So basically that was a very generic list junk journal. And wherever my signatures got stitched, I would have a sheet here that would fold over, and I glued it into a pocket. So these, you know, were very handy for all those pieces of papers where I could write my lists on. So that's basically what this one is. All throughout is just a bunch of cards, some pattern paper, which is fine. You can still, you know, attach a paper clip and a piece of paper on top of this. I use this format a lot. I'm a visual person, so for me to open a book that's just blank white pages or just plain lined pages is just not stimulating for me, so I really like to use pattern paper. And then, like I said, I just use washi tape to tape a piece of paper on, or a paper clip. And when I had this one, I basically, you know, like I said, work at home. So I carry this around the house with me. When I'm in the kitchen cooking, this is on the counter with me. When I'm in the living room watching TV, this is on the coffee table. When I go to bed at night, this is beside the bed with me. So I had this with me everywhere I went, and I would just keep adding lists. And I had the paper clips in an envelope in this pocket, and I had my pieces of paper in here, and I had a credit card that I had wrapped washi tape on. I think I saw that on YouTube somewhere, had that brilliant idea. So I always had my washi tape in a credit card in here so that I could just like quickly tape a piece of paper. And I like to use colored ink, so I get those gel pens and I write my lists in color. I used a lot of those dollar store notepads that I would take apart, those little notebooks. They're like spiral notebooks, and I have a lot of the spare pages. So those end up in my book as well, in the pockets like that. So, I mean, it's pretty junky, but it got used, you know, to the very last page. So that was one of them. That was a few years back. Now with this next one, I ended up taking a book cover and altering it with paints and stains and a digital image, and it was fluky. It was a happy accident. The inkjet print hadn't had enough time to set, so when I started to add glue or Mod Podge or whatever on top, the ink started to smudge, but it gave it a really nice effect, and then I just contoured it with a black marker. So she turned out really nice, and then I just stamped the word wonderful. I divided the 3 signatures into sections that I named with tabs. So for me, that was a way to stay organized. So whenever I had ideas about digital kits, they would go in this section, and then if I had an idea for something else, I would go to that section. And so, you know, this is how this book got used up in that way. Just very basic. This was the elastic closure that I was using at the time because it was a bit bulky. I had quite a few lists going on and some extra papers, and sometimes I actually would put some of our household bills in here so that I would remember to pay them. So again, very casual type of planner that I was using. So this is the one that I'm using currently. It's actually a binder from Martha Stewart. I got this at Staples, and I just altered it a little bit. I added a charm because I just thought that this was a little too plain looking. Originally, the charm I had on there was this beautiful bracelet that Rachel Jazzy Creations here on YouTube, she had made this as a creative team project when she was a designer on my team, and she recently gifted it to me, and I had put it on here, but every time I would go to bed and my husband was already in bed and I would drop this on the nightstand, this was so noisy that it would wake him up. It's just so pretty. So now I just enjoy it in my art room with me. And then I added a little elastic, vertical elastic closure here that I just looped in on the back here. I put 2 holes and tied a knot. And so that helps keep everything in place. And there are 5 dividers also from the Martha Stewart collection, but they don't hang out of my papers because my papers are the same width as the dividers. So I added these little clips from Tim Holtz on each tab so that I can just go to the tab, you know, more easily. And then here's where I use some of the plastic sleeves that come with in this collection. And here's that credit card I was telling you about with washi tape. Very handy way to carry your washi tape around with you. I've got paper clips and reinforcers in there. I've got some extra cards for writing my lists and my notes and ideas and stuff. So this is my month at a glance. I write, you know, what I think I need to get done for Ephemera's Vintage Garden in January and then February and all the way through the year. And I just keep adding there. And then I can go back in and cross off what gets done or carry it over to the next month. And then in the next section, I did end up getting those month at a glance calendar pages, but I'm really finding that they still don't work for me now that I work at home because things change for me on a week-to-week basis with Ephemera's Vintage Garden. So, I mean, I'm using it, but it's not, I end up using a lot of corrector tape and changing stuff around all the time. So I'm still using them, but they're not the first thing that I that I look at, I still go to my lists. So again, in this section, just a lot of scrap paper. I write my lists on there. Sometimes just having a little bit of a visual break is nice from just plain pages. That's just me. I like having images around me. They stimulate me, they inspire me, or I just enjoy that. So this is just a bunch of scrap stuff, a lot of coffee dyed extras in there. Another section I have in here is for my digital projects, and so, you know, upcoming projects are in here, different ideas I have. When I'm brainstorming a new kit, this is where it goes. When I'm actually designing one, whatever I want to remember to do is put on a list and added with a paper clip or washi tape. Another section I have is for the handmade items that I make for my Etsy shop. A lot of things get added on lists. That's just how I work best. And then one last section I have, it just includes things like the passwords to different accounts like Blogger or my Facebook business page, or just things like that. Also, I list who's on the design team as a guest that month, or what my current creative team designers are working with as far as the kits. And then I also added one final piece of plastic, one of those pockets, and it's just spare papers. And I'm also keeping a running list of supplies that I'm running low on. And that way when I end up going to Michael's or when I need to order online, I have my list ready. So that was just, you know, a quick flip through just to give you an idea of what a junk journal is and how I'm using them, and what works for me. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!